Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I am Ajita Bay, your financial conductor. And
I am John Epstein, life and financial strategist. Glad to be with you guys today.
absolutely. And man, you are definitely going to want to tune in, share, like this, tell a friend, because we're going to be talking about the ABCs of wealth again this week. This is week 2, and we want you to be tuned in. So get a notepad, piece of paper, a pen, and we'll get started in just a moment. Welcome, welcome, welcome again. I am Ajita Bay, your financial conductor. I help parents and professionals get on the right financial track and become someone both their parents and children can be proud of. And I'm joined as always by life and financial strategist, Mr. John C. Epting Jr.,
That's right.
20-year veteran in the financial services industry, senior financial broker, husband, father, and just a phenomenal man.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
Welcome, John. How are you?
I'm doing great. Busy day, but been doing great. I did get my workout in. Just came from the gym,
Good
showered
stuff.
up. I noticed I'm really shiny right now. So I don't know if I'm liking that part, but I'm happy to be here.
You know how that is. It's summertime, like everything get you hotter doing everything, right?
Yeah.
Showers are hotter. Yeah, you come out and it's like, yeah, yeah.
Get out of the shower, you're still sweating. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy
Good.
to be here. I'm looking forward to talking about this. And then we're gonna go hang out as a family and got some guests in town. But yeah, this is fun. This is gonna be cool. B.
Yeah. B. Yes, this week is B. I feel like Sesame Street. Today's
Right?
letter. The letter of the
Letter of
day is B, right? So B, the ABCs of wealth, the letter
Yep.
B. We're talking about budgeting for your behavior,
Mm.
right? Deciding your response in advance. So let's go ahead and get into it, John. Before we get into the budget and get into the information, explain to our audience, right? How is it that we start off on the wrong track financially, right? Like, why do we allow money to manage us instead of us managing money? Let's start
Well,
there.
well, you just said it. We most people don't know how money works, right? Because we make it and then we spend it. We make it, we spend it, and we think that's how it works. And that's not really how it works, right? Almost every financial decision we make, most of the time, especially in our early years, are emotional decisions, right? So it's a behavior. Um, so if you watch your behaviors, it's really driving the financial decisions you make. And then some of that equates to your values as well, right? What you found valuable, right? All of us find different things valuable, right? And that's why I always say wealthy people focus on the value of things, and I notice everyone else pays attention to the cost, if you will, right? And see when the value's right, the cost doesn't matter, right? And that's why you'll see certain people. I'm a good example of that. That I will spend certain amounts of money on certain things that other people would never spend that kind of money in. Even if they had it, they wouldn't buy the watches I would buy. They wouldn't.
Mhm.
It's just because it's not of value to them, right?
Right.
And also they may not understand it, right? But a lot of times it just gets away from you, right? Because most of us don't tell what money what to do, so
Mm-hmm.
we end up wondering where it went. Yeah. And we forget money works for us, not we work for,
Man, John,
well,
you
we
dropping
could
all
end up
kinds of
working for
jewels.
it.
I can't type that fast, right? I'm trying to drop all the nuggets in the
Sorry.
comments.
No, don't worry about dropping all these nuggets. Let these people go back and listen to
Yeah.
this thing.
Okay, okay, but right, that was some good jewels. Those were some definitely good jewels. You said we don't work for money, right? We're supposed to get money to work for us. I love
Yes.
that, and that was one of the first concepts that you helped me to understand, and like just making that small shift.
Hmm.
And it's something that I've started to implement quite a bit in my what? my children. Something I've started to implement quite a bit in my business. When I'm talking to clients and stuff like that, I'm like, you gotta tell money what to do, right? Stop
Mhm.
letting money tell you what to do, right? Like, stop letting money manage you, and you start managing money. And
Mhm.
so, answer this, John. Right? Why is it important to create a budget?
Just like I said, if you don't tell money what to do, you'll wonder where it went. So a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Well, no matter how much you make, the reason you're living paycheck to paycheck is because you haven't told money what to do. So it's controlling you instead of you
Mm,
controlling it, right? If you controlled it, right, you could never get to the place where you're living paycheck to paycheck. And I've been on both sides of this, so it's not like
absolutely.
I've always made a whole bunch of money. And no, I promise you that was not the case, right? What I noticed for me when I first started this journey, this is 22 years ago now, it wasn't the big things that was
Mm-hmm.
throwing me off. It was the little things here and there,
Right.
right? And we've talked about this on many different of these talks that a lot of times, like most Navy ships, most airplanes stay off course most of the time. And it's
Right.
the course correction. So what is it telling you? It's the small things that throw you off course,
Yeah.
right? So for me, I was eating out $600-700 a month, $800 a month, some months. And it wasn't because I was going out to Ruth Chris every month and dropping 120, 150, 270 on a bill. No, it was $6 here, $4 here. It was the 7-Eleven runs because it wasn't a Wawa back then, but right, it was small things that was hemming me up, if you will, and that's how I really got messed up. Yeah, so you have to pay attention to the small things, and that's why budgets are so important. If you budget that, hey, what is this? This is budget your behavior.
Yeah.
If you know you go to Starbucks every week, right, or every day, whatever it is, budget that. Simple. And then don't
Mm-hmm.
go over that. If you end up going more times than you normally do, right? But now your budget doesn't you had a $200 budget for that. Once you hit 200, we don't care that it's the 23rd of the month. You ain't allowed to go again, right? That's just
Right.
how it is. So that's you telling money what to do.
Good deal. Good deal. So, for you, answer this just in your personal life, and I'll share as well. What does budgeting your behavior look like? Like, what are some ways that you budget for the small things, the incidentals?
Right. So, for example, now I have a bunch of coffee in my house. I'm a huge coffee drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a bunch of coffee in my house. Like, I mean, bags of beans, and I have a CBD coffee that if you would like, contact me. But a CBD coffee, so that's a big deal. Okay, and it's so much in the house. We don't need to buy coffee no time soon. Okay, but sometimes I still like to go grab a cup at a Wawa, right? At a town center cold press, at a Por Favor, or someplace like that. So budget in there that in already. This is all I'm going to spend in this area. That's
Mm-hmm.
my behavior. That's one of the things I like to do. Budget in there so I know that. Here's another one. I'm a huge deal guy. I love getting deals on
Mm-hmm.
certain things. I follow an app in reference to it, right? So I like the deals come to me. I don't even have to go look for them to a degree, right? Let's say I'm in Hampton this week. I live in Virginia Beach, but let's say I'm in Hampton this week. I'll stop in the Ross over there. I'll stop in the, and not, I don't have anything I need, but
But
just
you
to
like
screw
deals.
through, just to screw through, I'll hit the J.C. Penney's. I mean, excuse me, not J.C. Penney's, the Marshalls over there, just
Mm-hmm.
to screw through. And I hit certain sections, right? The household goods type stuff, right? The clearance section over there, right? Right. And there might be one or two things like right now we need some new tongs for this new grill we just bought, right? None of
Mm-hmm.
ours has silicone tips. We don't want to screw up the grill, right? So I'm gonna go get that, right? So I already put in my mind my number. This is my number. This is all I get, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I also have to discipline myself to know, because I know me. If I hit the Marshalls on Virginia on Independence Boulevard
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already close to the number, don't go. Just don't go. right? So I even don't drive down that way. Like if I want to go to the Little Creek base, I don't go. You just drive.
Mm.
Yeah. Now here's the funny thing: my wife don't even know I do this. She
Oh,
doesn't even know I'm already. Yeah, here you
I
hear
heard her.
right?
Hey, Abby. What don't I know? She'll know
Right?
now after she watched this.
Yeah, she watched it and then she know. But those are the things I do. Like I'm willing to bet right now as I'm speaking, right? My wife and daughter don't know that I bought a new tablecloth for the outside dinette out there. Yes, I saw it on Amazon. Okay, she saw. But that's my behavior because I
Yeah,
like a home. I don't want to just have a house. I want a home. Right? This
absolutely.
is my sanctuary. This is my, I'm actually doing this talk from our home, right? And this is my sanctuary. This is my safe space, if you will. And that's why I
Yeah,
want it a certain way. That's why I want it clean. That's why I want it, you know. But those are my behaviors, so we budget that in. Like, pay attention to those types of things, if that makes any sense. Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, good, good. Yeah. So one of the ways I budget, I don't like counting every penny. I just don't.
No,
Right?
no, I
As
don't.
like,
If you're new to it, you probably
yeah,
should.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's detrimental that you should in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But once you have your flow, that's not even
Yeah.
necessary. Let me tell you why. Because there's a surplus now. That's really
Mm-hmm.
why.
Right. Right. And so that's the strategy that I use. It's just like I budget the surplus, right? So the surplus goes into a blow account, if you will, right? Like I can do whatever I want to do with this money because it's not allocated. But it's a reasonable amount, right? It's nothing extraneous, maybe like I don't even know if it's 1%. It's not, yeah, probably not even that of my, it's a small amount, right? That
Yeah.
I just, and then I have a certain amount that I just set and forget, right? Like it's just all right, you
Hmm.
throw that in the Acorn account, and then
There
of
you go.
course I have my larger accounts where a significant amount of money goes. Um, but yeah, and I think it's important because I know early on I was so focused on being responsible that I didn't budget for fun, and
Mm.
then I would sabotage my results because like my fun muscle had to be exercised, and it was just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it big because I
I'm gonna
haven't done
do it.
anything.
Yeah.
Right?
It's almost a
So
form of rebellion.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's not, and I didn't recognize that earlier, back then. But now knowing that, look, I gotta have some fun too. As serious as I
Hmm.
might be, I
You
still
should.
need to budget for some fun. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that I share a lot of times with my clients is have a bucket for every behavior, right? Create a bucket for it, right?
That-
Another B
That's
word.
the perfect way of thinking. If you're a traveler, if you're a shoe person, if you're a purse person, some people are handbag people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm blessed. My wife ain't a handbag lady. She don't care about that. Like, she much rather pick up a bag in Target or something. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing she wants the smallest bag she can find now. Before it was these big things and it's hanging off your arm, look like a piece of luggage. She wants the smallest thing she can find. And I want her to have the smallest thing she can find too, because sometimes I might end up carrying them. So for sure. But you're right. I love how you put this on here, right? You know that person's birthday's coming. Your mama birthday the same day every year. Budget for it, right?
Yep.
Christmas. Guess what? Hey, everybody, listen. Everybody, lean in. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Christmas is in December. Coming. You know this is coming, so plan
Mm-hmm.
for it, right? And then this may sound weird. My clients catch this now, though. When I'm sitting down doing an analysis with them, right? I ask questions. This seems stupid, right? How old is your kid? Oh, Uh-oh, right? He's 13. He's in a growth spurt. You
Mm.
know what that means? You can buy shoes
Close.
for him every other month. Yeah, you buying shoes for him every other month. I remember when
Mm.
Jesse went from like a size 6 to a 9 in a summer.
Oh wow.
And then next thing I know, by November, it was a 9.5.
Mm.
Right? So it's like, come on, what? Right? And I remember one day I took her into a shoe store, bought 3 pairs that day. Right? I think one of those pairs, I think she wore twice.
Mm.
Because that's how fast the growth spurt worked. Okay, but plan for that.
Yeah.
No, it's
I'm gonna get
money,
them flip flops for the growth spurt, unless it's winter time.
right? Oh, yeah. Get them some slides. Get them some Adidas slides. Let them ride them out until they foot hanging off the end of that joint.
Yeah.
I know that's bad, right?
No, no. If it's summertime, right? Hopefully it's summertime. If not, then yeah, we gonna have to do
And,
a
and
few.
and no offense to the parents who are dropping $250 on a pair of Jordans for their kid, if that's what you feel the deal is, but just make sure you plan for it and you budget for it, and don't spend that
Wait till
college
their feet
education.
stop growing.
Yeah. Don't spend that
Right?
college education on this. That's just my
Professional, yeah, advice. Absolutely. And I even have on there, I said LOL, but triggers, because I sometimes emotionally spend when I get triggered.
Absolutely.
So
Me
I
too.
got that. I
I don't
got
know
that.
why people think we're exempt to this stuff. No,
We're human.
I got my
Absolutely.
triggers. I probably got more than most simply
Mhm.
because of where we are.
And I think even if you don't have anything specific that you want to spend on, right, like right away. I
Mm-hmm.
remember there was an incident about 3 years ago, and I went and spent some money on something, but it made me think about it. Like just have a bucket of money that you can just dump, not just for emergencies, because we definitely recommend having at least $1,000, and building up to 3 to 6 months of your monthly income and expenses. So do
Sure.
that, right? Like that's the
That's
the
the norm. That's
routine.
the
Yeah. But outside of that, gifts, travel, birthdays, holidays, shopping, children, self-care, right? Like all, not just women, men too, right? I think men tend to be a little bit better at that than women sometimes. But
not
having that
planning it. No,
no, not funny.
no, because a man's like, oh, every week you go get a haircut and it's $25 or it's $30, and he didn't
Hmm.
really plan it. He just knows that's what it is.
Yeah.
He didn't plan it. Absolutely not. Right? And then every once in a blue moon, a man want a massage, then he just paid for it. Right?
Hmm.
But he could just put it in his budget, right? His budget behavior.
Yeah.
Once every other month, I'm gonna get a massage, or once a month, whatever that. Call my guy Mario. My guy Mario would take care of you, right? And pay for the 2 hour one. If you're only doing this every 2 months, pay for the 2 hour deep tissue. Get it done. The real deal. Drop the $200 it might cost, whatever it is, $90 an hour or whatever it is. It's worth it.
Hmm.
Well, let me say it this way: are you worth it?
Absolutely.
Matter of fact,
I
all
like
these
that.
behaviors we talking about, and you planning for it, budgeting your behavior, are you worth it? That's all you gotta ask yourself. It's not hard. Like, oh
Hmm.
my God, I don't want a budget. Are you worth it? I'm worth it.
Yep.
I'm more than worth it.
And I think that this comes to like your intention, right? Your intention with your finances, but not just in finance, but in a lot of areas of your life. Like
Mm-hmm.
what you give attention to, what you focus on will expand, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
focusing on where you're putting your money and how it's working for you, it'll grow. That habit will grow. That muscle will develop. And I like how you said that. Are you worth it, right? You're worth putting the money where it's going to best benefit you. Because a lot of times when we sit down with clients, they don't know where the money's going, right? Like you said, they wonder where it went. And so when we put on paper, all right, based on what you are accustomed to spending or expect to go out, this is how much you should have left over, right? It might be a couple hundred. It could be a few thousand, depending on who you're talking to.
We've
And
seen
so
some really interesting numbers.
and the challenge is that they simply just haven't had any intention with that surplus, right? That
Yeah,
cash flow, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week, right? Because that's the letter
that's the
C.
C.
So with cash flow, people aren't aware of what's left over, right? Like they know what has to get paid, right? They know what
Mm-hmm.
has to get taken care of, but anything outside of that, it's just like if the money's there and they can see it in their account, I can swipe, I can take the cash out, I can do these other things. And so just having intention with the money that you have so that it's working better for you, right? Because it's working against you essentially if you're not putting it somewhere where it's going to benefit you, right? And then you look up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and you're not where you want to be financially because we didn't put money to work, right? That was one of the things that you definitely taught me early on. You got to put money to work or you're going to always have to work for money. And so the sooner, the better. The earlier you get started, the better off you're going to be. And we don't know what's going to happen. We've talked about it before on this show about, health challenges could come up, family, all of those things. And if you can do your due diligence and plan in advance for what could happen, right? You anticipate the things that could happen and prepare for them, then you're less likely to get thrown off track. And that goes back to what we talked about last week. Your philosophy has a lot more to do with your economy than the economy. So,
absolutely. It happened to me just recently because my wife had to have a tooth removed, emergency. So what if we were depending on her going to work? What if I think about that stuff, right? Or what if we didn't have good health insurance? Let's just start there, right? How much would this have cost, right? Or dental insurance in this particular case, right? I remember them bringing her options, right? So the finance person from the dental place comes back and, hey, these are your options and this is what you can do. And there's an astronomical difference between a root canal and an extraction, right? And so it's like, which one? But, we didn't have to think about which one, right? It was really what she's comfortable with. But some people are making decisions based on that, though. They're making decisions based on the number. And that's not fun. But if you plan ahead, you budget it, and that's more of an emergency, I would say, to a degree. But man, if you planned ahead, that's something you don't have to think about. You just do it, right? It's business as usual, if you will. Because you've heard me say before, the only people who have emergencies are those who don't have an emergency fund.
Right.
Yeah. No, it feels like an emergency when you don't have it, but when it's just business as usual when you do.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's real quick. Let's just recap, right? We don't have to spend a lot of time, right? We just want to kind of give you little nuggets. And of course, if you need help with creating a budget, we have some phenomenal tools that we can help you with.
Absolutely. And stuff on your
utilize
phone, apps. We got too much. Well, I remember when I first started in business, we didn't have none of this stuff. And now it's become so easy to help a client really bring awareness to them.
Yeah.
What we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Awareness, bringing awareness to them for them to see it. And here's the cool thing. They can't argue with me. All of it came from their stuff. I can't fabricate it. Right. It was your money. And using cash it's shown people that they don't track cash very well. And being a business owner, I learned that. Like I met with someone to kind of I guess mentor us today on a restaurant type business that we have. And oh my gosh, guy been in the restaurant business 32 years. Sharp. I mean, that was a very valuable couple of hours I spent with him, but really helped me see how to make I would love for our restaurant to have a 7% food cost. 7%, like, huh? 25 is good.
Yeah.
7, right? But showed me the ways of how to do it and what to pay attention to and look at. But the reason I caught it, I think, all right, is because this budgeting thing. It's really about the budget. It's really about food inventory, right? What is that? Bringing awareness, right? What's coming in, what's going out, all those types of things. So it was a great meeting. Can't wait to talk to my partners about my meeting with him. And thank God I have good relationships because he did that meeting for me for free.
Nice.
Right? When really he could have charged.
And most people do, right?
Yeah, but when you create great relationships with people, they go out of their way to help. And everybody's just not out greedy trying to stab everybody. It's a lot of people. I've learned in my life, it's a lot of people just willing to help, just willing to give you
Absolutely.
information. But you got to ask. Not many people are given unsolicited advice, and if they
Yeah.
are given unsolicited advice, you probably shouldn't listen to that advice. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. Seriously.
Agreed. And I think that's even maybe we can talk about that at another week this year. But how it's something that I consider true wealth is really what you just said, your relationships, right? Like that's so much more valuable than
So much
money,
more.
right?
Yes. For
Having that
me,
network.
yeah,
Yep.
for me personally, and thank God I learned this some time back, that my relationship with Christ and my relationship with other people is the most important thing in my life.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
knowledge. You got great relationships. You don't have to know much at all, but you can get the information from the people that you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's so
I'm
true.
living proof. I'm not that smart of a guy. I'm pretty intelligent, but smart. Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
can
Like.
I can make a phone call. I can make a phone call. I can get people on the Zoom. Hey, I offered to take this guy to breakfast, lunch, whatever, coffee. Didn't ask any. Matter of fact, he was trying to serve me while I was there.
Mm.
Right, and he sit down, break down, allowed me to blast questions at him. Gave me a lot of insight. I was taking so many notes. I ain't take that many notes, and I don't know how long. But it was worth it. Well, that's about relationships. So you catch it, and you catch it at a lot younger age than I did. Their relationships are more important than all this stuff.
That's good stuff. We'll make that the letter N, net worth and network. Yeah, we'll
Yes,
tie those. Yeah, we'll
I
talk
like
about that.
I totally get it. Because believe it or not, that's a strategy in that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't catch it, it looks like you're trying to manipulate people or use them, and nobody wants to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got to ask in every relationship, what value do you bring to it as well?
Yeah. A friend of mine actually just said that to me yesterday. He's like, nobody in your life is useless. Everybody in your life is useful, right? Like they're and you use them, right? Because they're useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I don't keep people around that are useless. Right? Like they're not adding
Even
value.
even over time, it's some people in your relationship in the early times, you might be pouring out more than you get, right? More than you get back. For me, there's been people who I've mentored in the past who, in the early, I was pouring out more than I was getting poured back, right? But then over time, I realized I was getting a lot just by pouring out to them. Yeah, it's certain people I had to grow in order to mentor them.
Yep.
All right,
That's like that for a parent, right? You got to grow to raise children.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Don't bring up parenthood. Oh my god, that's another level of mentorship. It's just like, oh my god, why?
Like I do not have this figured out.
No, I don't know why people always think we got it figured out. It's like, oh man, you doing so good. You're like, bro, I'm trying to figure this out myself. Like, I appreciate your, thank you. I don't have it. I'm dealing with a 16-year-old female. Pray for me. Somebody forgive me. But here's the thing, and I know you'll agree, even your babies aren't even close to 16 yet. She's worth it. She's so worth it. But we just, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. We'll read some more books. We'll continue to pray and seek mentorship. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have friends who have daughters that have already passed the 16, 18, 22 phase. So let me talk to them. Let me take them to lunch. Let me take them for some coffee. Hey, man, when they got here, what did you do? Yeah. And I got a great partner. So my partner, I think we balance each other really good.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, this has been awesome, John. I'm just gonna recap some of the bullet points, right? First and foremost, right, we got a budget for our behavior, right? You got to decide your response in advance. And can you share? I know you got a little phrase about what you and your wife do until you make a decision. You had shared with it last week briefly.
Yeah. It's kind of, I know the word decide means put to death,
Mm-hmm.
right? Side, that part, side means put to death. It means death, right? And okay, homicide, suicide, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means put to death, right? Decide means you're just putting to death all other options. You made a
Right.
decision. Okay, I believe you can preside. As you know, back in 2012, our family went through a challenge, and our daughter was in the hospital, our youngest, and she was very sick. It was it was a tough situation, and up front we presided that how we were going to respond if she made it, if she lived, or if she died, if she passed on and went home, right? We presided up front. This is what we were gonna do. This is how we were gonna react, if you will, right?
Right.
So when it went a certain way, right, and she passed away, right, we had already had it in us how we were gonna walk this out, what it was gonna look like to all the people who watched us. Now the people who
Mm.
watched us, to them we just lost a child. Oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
how are you guys even standing? How are you breathing? Well, because we presided.
I remember that though. Like the night we came to, I was just like, I
I
remember
remember you
coming
guys came
home.
to the hospital that night, March
Yeah.
30th, 2012. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Way too many people were in the ICU. And I remember they shut it down because of us, because of all of our people and stuff like that. If I recall correctly, you guys were in a big training in our office.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard people just start walking out of the training like like what? I heard
Yeah.
that later. I was like, what? They were what? It was like, yeah, well, somebody sent word,
Mm-hmm.
and all of you guys started leaving. But yeah, it was and people still talk about that.
Yeah. I remember coming home and telling my mother that like that was like faith personified for me, right? Like what I witnessed was just like that's what faith looks like. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember like that really resonated with me at that time, and really stuck with me. Just being able to watch, how you all walk through that. And I'm just like that takes a level of strength and faith that I'm not there yet, but you can learn. Like we were talking about having that network, like being able to have people around you that can um, that are a little further down the path than you are yourself, but you can learn from them and you can glean from their examples. So I certainly
Yeah,
appreciate that, and it applies not just in your finances, but in your personal life as well. Being able to decide upfront how you're going to respond to certain things,
yeah,
and I've done that in certain instances, right? Like with having my children, and dealing with their fathers, right? Like I
mm-hmm.
made a decision up front, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to allow our relationship to interfere with them having a relationship with their child, right? Like it has nothing to do
absolutely.
with me. They'll always be able to have access to their children. So I want to know
Isn't it?
that.
Isn't it more peaceful too when you kind of
Yeah.
precise? I mean, I'm looking back, I'm thinking back, and somebody just recently brought up that night when you guys all came to the hospital, and her last few hours and stuff like that. And somebody recently brought it up. They were like, um, I had actually kind of forgot this part, but apparently after she passed, I was paying attention to the staff, and he said you called the staff over and prayed for them after your daughter passed. He was like, what was wrong with you? So him and I were joking about it. I mean, we're really close
Mm-hmm.
friends, so he's allowed to do that with me. But he was like, you prayed for them, like this is the wrong
Who
time,
does that?
bro.
Yeah.
I was like, but I knew they were taking it like really, really hard. See, my advantage is I had presided.
Mm.
and Dr. Johnson and the nurses and stuff, they hadn't. You're right. And then you spend
Yep.
7 weeks with some people, you end up growing an attachment. I mean, every day for 7 weeks, you
Yeah.
grow an attachment. And I could just tell that they were not taking this well, which was kind of a little off to me because I mean you're in the ICU. Stuff happens like the 7 weeks we were there. We knew other children that had passed away.
Right.
Right, and it was just weird. So yeah, Presighting is a, and I appreciate your insight in reference to that. It was a tough time for us, and I mean, it still chokes me up. I mean, I miss her, you know. But yeah, you can preside. So we're talking about that particular situation, but you can preside in almost everything, right? Kind of just look down the line of what things can happen, and get ready.
Yep.
Get ready. Crappy stuff is coming. Right? Get ready. And it does give you a level of peace when you can walk out what you already presided. Right.
I like that.
And I believe it gives other people hope.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially, when we're able to help, I know like helping a husband and wife or helping, a father or mother put certain things together, right? Like my hope is that they start to teach it to their children, right?
Yeah.
Like I encourage them, start to have these conversations with your children. Start them off at a young age, understanding where you are financially as a family. Like don't hide it from them. Don't try to keep things away from them. Like let them know, hey, this is where we are. This is what we're going to do. These are the goals that we're setting, because that's how they're going to pick up on those good habits and those, that model. So that's important too. Like prepare that next generation so that they hopefully are able to start off on a better foot. I was just having a conversation with my daughter today because she just likes leaving the house. And something my father used to teach me all the time, or say all the time growing up, was just like, whenever you leave the house, you're spending money, right? It costs to leave the house, right? In some way, shape, or form. But she's always like, where are we going to go? Yeah. I'm like, home. Like, can we just go home? Like, why do we have to go somewhere or do something, right? And, just had to kind of break it down to her. Like, look, you don't have to. And I shared this with actually the other day. I'm like, stuff will never make you happy. Right. Because you're always going to want more stuff, right? Like it's a never ending cycle. There's always going to be more stuff to get. And so you got to be happy with yourself. And so even part of budgeting, right? Yeah, you might have that like blow it account, or right, the money that you can just spend for whatever. It's all right for that, but it shouldn't be half your budget that you can just, right? Because that's not helping you, right? It's not resolving. It's not helping you to move forward. And so being aware of, right, we talked about that last week, awareness and assessing, right? Like what you get to the root of, right? You might have to talk to our friend Cynthia Johnson, get to the root of your relationship with money. Get to the root of why do you want to spend money? That's what I asked her, right? She's 7. She just turned 7. But I'm asking her, like, why do you feel the need to go spend money or go to the store? We just went to Claire's. I let you spend your birthday money at Claire's. So why do we need to, like, we just went to the store. Why we got to go to the store again? Like, what is it that you want? Because obviously the stuff at Claire's didn't satisfy you. And you still got stuff that you ain't open from your birthday. So, like, what are we going to go get? Right? What are we, right? I'm like, what void do you, like you need to fill some void, right? Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. What is the void? Do you need to feel loved? Are you not affirmed enough? Is it stuff like, let's get to the root of it.
Love. Oh my God.
It's something, right? Like I feel like it's something because it shows up, right? Like money, right? Money is a magnifier.
Yes.
And so it's going to reveal you to yourself. Where you're spending your money will tell you what's a priority for you. And so if you're buying stuff that you're not even using or you don't even enjoy after you buy it, you need to get to the root cause of why are you what is the word?
So
frivolously spending that money,
So
just because you have it, like to impress people that you don't like, or like what's the intention? And once you understand that, then you can make a shift. You can make a change to get to a better place. So I know we're talking about the ABCs of wealth, but wealth is a mindset, right? It's how you think. It's your philosophy. And your behavior is directly connected with your budget.
So true.
So
Man.
today we've been talking about some great concepts. We're going to just recap real quick. Budgeting for your behavior, presighting, I like that. Deciding in advance how you're going to respond. Um, we start off typically on the wrong track because we allow money to tell us what to do instead of us telling money what to do. It's important to create a budget uh, to tell your money where it needs to go instead of allowing it to tell you.
Please.
And understanding your behaviors, have a bucket for every behavior, right? The travel, the gifts, the birthdays, the holidays, shopping, children,
Oh yeah.
triggers, giving, self-care, healthcare, dental care, hair care, right? All that stuff. Have a bucket for it. Plan for it in advance. And you can better reach the goals that you want, right? You got to have some goals first. We have to talk about that one week, of course, right? Setting goals financially. Um, when you don't budget for your behavior, you'll eventually sabotage your results, right? Like I
Oh my
just
gosh.
just from my
I,
own
I'm
experience,
I'm witness of that. Yeah.
very true. And as John says, most people don't know how money works. All right, we think that we make it and we spend it, but that's not how money works, right? Money is a tool, right?
Yes, it's a
It's supposed
tool.
to
I'm glad you said it that way. It's a tool, right?
absolutely.
And you can use tools for good and bad too. So
Absolutely, right. And we want to teach you how to use it for good, right?
yes,
That's our job.
yes,
Wealthy people focus on the value of things. Most other people focus on the cost. So you gotta be aware of what you value, right? You gotta be aware of your behavior so that you can invest where you see value. Invest where you right. If you value your family, you value yourself. Um, you got to ask yourself the question: are you worth it? Are you worth getting some help financially? Are you worth,
yeah.
putting a budget together? And if you believe that you're worth it, definitely contact myself or John, right? You got the link going across at the bottom. You can reach him at calendly.com/JC Epting or myself, calendly.com/prosperity passengers/financial consultation. It's completely complimentary, and we can sit down with you and help you figure out how you too can budget for your behavior because we believe it. You're worth it. So, any final words, John, before we wrap up here?
Hey, let's go make a difference this week as we continue with this wealth talk and share this stuff with somebody. It might bless someone, right? Because really, like we say, money is a tool, and really, we want you to be blessed. We want you to have an abundance of money, so that's not an issue of what's on your mind and how you move about our nation and our world. So it's been fun, Majida. Thank you.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
All right, next week.